Okay, hi, welcome everyone. So just for you to know the way we work, some of you are new. So just to give you perspective of how we do things. So there's always going to be a topic, and the way we choose topic is something that should uh, provide something for each of you. And the most important thing is that the topic creates uh, some awareness, consciousness into you that is always linked to something you are dealing with, either a health condition, relationship, workplace issue. And the reason and that I've done it is because this is how I could get out of my stories. And I work with thousands of people over a period of last 12 years to know that this is how we create our paths. And so there's always the topic itself, and then that actually leads to kind of paths because each of the session is experiential. You're not coming here only for theory, but you're going to actually create meaning from that theory because you're going to experience. And then it leads into something that you build for yourself, because at the end, each one of you who's looking for change has to create his own path of transformation and growth. But this process helps you to do that and is always supported by a Q&A because at the end, we stay for an hour, hour and a half as time will be there and answer questions because that's where you can start to create more meaning of what you did. So that's how this whole thing works. Okay, just wanted to talk about that. Okay, so the topic today is it's not an easy one. I can tell you that because it has been for me very important since a long, long, long time. And I know this is not easy. I was actually when researching for this, it's interesting that you don't find a lot of it. Of course, there's the medical world of pain, and pain management is a whole subject in itself. But when you get into other areas, it's difficult to find a lot of content and material around this, which explains to me two things: the paradox of pain. Uh, in all my work, almost 70 to 80% of people that I work with, they always come with pain. There's always a pain. And uh, and then when I go in to do the research, pain disappears. So there's not a lot around that. So I think the topic is relevant. So we are going to divide it into many series. I have not defined today how many series we are going to do, how many sessions we are going to do. What came to me that it will reveal itself and we'll go step by step. Uh, Now, most of us have experienced some form of pain in a lifetime. Almost everybody has experienced, even if sometime you may not be aware of a certain kind of pain. Now, pain can last a long time. Sometime that goes through someone that goes through pain will have the feeling of, and it's always there is an emotion that gets attached to it, either sadness, anger, disappointment, frustration, panic. I mean, there are all kind of feelings that go there, and many times people feel alone or like nobody understands them, because sometimes because pain is not so. I have a lot of examples where people say, well, if my hand or head or something was broken, people can see it, but when I have pain, uh, it is not visible outside, so it is always often misunderstood. And that can so they kind of always feel there is a suffering, there is a sense of guilt, regret, and sometimes it can be very humiliating. And that puts the person out of balance and create consequences that can go into relationships, into careers, and into overall well-being. So, so what we are going to do in this series is we'll address this topic step by step, and every time something which is for the relevant to this group. And however, we will always go deeper inside and work on an aspect, some aspect of your life because that's why you are here. So today the idea was to just deepen understanding of anatomy of pain and start to destigmatize pain. We will build inner resources, and before we take one example, from your life uh, that represent pain for you and work on it. And then we will support it with using tuning forks, bifield tuning. And then finally, we'll open up for any feedback, reflection, Q&A. Now, let's go into anatomy of pain. Now, there are, I will give you two examples, what were interesting for me. Example of chronic pain and example of no pain. Now, there's a real case of a guy who had some form of disease, went in, got himself into surgery. Within 4 weeks of coming back from surgery, started to experience extreme pain, and that actually eventually got diagnosed as what they call Reiter's syndrome, which became so severe uh, over a period of time that he actually became depressed and had to take more medication and was almost on a downward spiral till he corrected himself and accepted this part of his life. Now, in his example, uh, it was over a period of 30 years that this evolved and developed. So in meantime, from the first diagnosis, he started to have his usual life, and then the pain continued to increase, became deliberated. I mean, he could not function, and then he went through what what comes in. He went into panic attacks, into depression, and all kind of other things, and hence the medication just kept spiraling up for him. And the second example is no pain. There's a young girl who actually, her neurology was such that actually she could not have any feeling of pain. Uh, they put her in literally burning water. I mean, it's so hot, boiling water, and had no pain. And she would get herself hurt and have actually no feeling of pain and come home, and somebody would notice, well, you're bleeding. And actually, she would look at it and say, well, I don't remember. And this also is very dangerous because she had so many inflammations in her joints because she would sit in wrong positions, feel no pain, and continue to sit that way as a young girl and had inflammation in joints, which created a lot of issues for her. So you look at both elements. Having pain is a way to remind that there's something not okay. But when it becomes extensive pain, then it creates other effects. And there are many uh, models. One of the most commonly used model or theory is called gate control theory, which actually talks about how pain is perceived by the brain. And it says that there is basically a gate at the base of the spine where, uh, based on the uh, stimuli, but also based on what is already existing at the point where this goes into the brain, it creates an aspect of an experience of pain or no pain, and or it blocks the pain or exhibits pain, but depending on what is the situation is what they call the gate. Now, uh, so the experience of the pain is influenced by past experiences, attention to other cognitive or what they call physical activity. And in this theory, they say, well, anxiety, depression, fear, or focus on pain actually increases the pain, the gate opens. Whereas if somebody is into intense involvement in other activities or relaxation, can actually mute the pain. And this kind of starts to explain what we also speak about many times, where people that have and they say talk about uh, level of medication used by, for example, the in the study, they looked at people that were in war, okay, that were in wars-like situation. So they will get hurt, and actually they have much less need of anti-inflammatory or pain medication than a person which is normal person living a normal life, if it has the same level of hurt, will actually have a much more uh, need of medication to subside. And the level of hurt is exactly the same. Is the perception into the brain differs, and the reason was attributed to how your your physiology or neurology actually manages pain. So just for you to know, and we'll go much more detail in next sessions into that. I wanted to stay at that level. Now there are different types of pains. There's acute pain, chronic pain, intermittent pain, malignant pain, which specifically comes from people that have tumors or cancer, neuropathic pain, phantom. This is when people have limbs that are not existing, or they used to have huge amount of pain and then it got subsided. The cause went away, but they still feel the pain, radiating pain, remitting, episodic. And we know these kind of pains are, you have joint pains, you have post-accident, migraines, stomach, post-disease, post-surgery, backaches. I mean, there's a whole sets of pain that could exist, and it's a huge topic in itself. Now, there's another aspect, and look at from human side. We live in a myth that no pain, no gain. It's commonly said by our parents talk about it. We hear it in the society. No pain, no gain. Now, what that does is it actually, which which has another underlying myth that goes around, that we must pay for our mistakes. We are sinners. We make a sin, and then we must pay for our mistakes. And how do we pay for our mistakes? By enduring pain. And which is what we do is individually we choose pain as a signal that, oh, now I'm wrong and I have to do something with my life. And the deeper aspect of this philosophy is, if we confirm to ourselves in a state of solid energy of harmony within ourselves and fully trust our inner self, our outer behavior and our inner being same the same thing, which is we do not have to endure pain in order to change. We do not have to endure pain to make changes in our lives. We can do it otherwise. Because our inner self, or what we call our soul, or any other meaning that we give to the true inner being, has enough love and capacity to make any changes in our life. And we do not have to wait for an external event or for a pain in our life to make changes. Now, what I want you to do is the following, because you're going to get into working on yourself. Take an example for you where you want to work on. Assess yourself. What kind of pain do you have? Is it sharp? Is it burning? When did it start? Where is it located? In or around your body? Duration, how long does it last? What makes it worse? What makes it better? Is it spreading? And where is it spreading? And what do you associate it with? take a moment to self-reflect on these questions. Okay, I just want you to, let's begin. So just settle in and take a moment to be in a comfortable position. And you can close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Imagine a place where you feel completely safe, a place where you have been to, or a place in your imagination. Imagine this place in as much detail as possible. Where are you? What do you see? What time of day and time of year is it? Is it warm? Is it cold? What do you hear? What can you smell? How do you feel being in this place? How does your body react in this safe place? What could make this place even more safer? Make that possible. And please give a name to this place and know you can go there and be there anytime. It is available for you at any moment. Now imagine your breath going in and out of your heart, breathing a little slower than usual. Breathing into your heart, allow the breath to flow in and out of your heart. Now think of the pain you just assess that you want to work with. Bring it into your awareness. And as you think of this, make an invitation to it and notice where you feel it in and around your body. I'm going to invite you to just take a little longer to be with it, with your body and all the sensations that are there. And you can thank this part and ask it not to overwhelm you, because you are here to understand and know more. And ask if there is something that this part wants you to know about itself. Listen it to. Listen it to it as it speaks to you. And notice as you hear it speak, how do you feel towards it? And maybe you're annoyed, or even hate it, or afraid of it. So you could just get to know a bit from it by asking it and speaking to it and listening to it. And it may have some surprising things to tell you. So in other words, see if you could be just mindfully curious about it. And if you could get to that curious place, just ask it what it wants you to know about itself. And ask it, what are your intentions for me? And wait for an answer. And then a question would be, what kind of impact or effect it is having in your life or to the people around you? What kind of impact or effect it is having to you or to the people around you? Listen to the answer. Are you getting what it wanted you to know about itself? And notice how you feel towards it now. And see if you can be a bit compassionate share more with you. From a place of compassion, ask it, what is it afraid would happen if it didn't do this? What are its fears? And listen to an answer. And then ask it, and then what happens? And then what? What else is a fear? What else is it afraid of? And then what? Ask it, and then what happens? If you got an answer to those questions, then it told you about what it is protecting. So if it is possible, extend some appreciation to it or compassion for it and see how it reacts to that. And now ask it, how old are you? Or when did it all start? Notice the age. Now ask it, if you could heal or change what it protects, would it allow you to heal or release the underlying pain? And just wait for an answer. It may say yes, it may say no. If it said no, then ask it what needs to happen for it to allow you to heal, and wait for an answer. And thank it for letting you know, and check again. Is it okay to heal? And if it said yes, then I want you to connect to the younger you of the age when it all started. See this younger you standing right in front of you. It may be looking at you, it may not be looking at you. Just notice, how do you feel towards this younger you? See if you can show some compassion toward the younger you and see if the younger you is looking at you. And now ask if the younger you wants to share its story. What happened then? The events, the emotions, the beliefs. Ask this little one not to overwhelm you and that you are here to listen in love, listen in peace, so it can tell you all it went through. And all you have to do is to listen. Take the moment to listen to everything it wants you to know. The events, the emotion, the beliefs. You can ask the younger you if it wants to tell you more. Now ask the younger you what should have happened then that did not happen. What should have happened then that did not happen? And listen to the answer from the younger you. Now, in your own words, assure the younger you that this was in the past and this is not going to happen again. In your own words, assure the younger you. Now, ask the younger you if it would like to move to a safer place of its choice. And if it says no, ask what needs to happen for it to allow. And please assure the younger you with love and compassion. Ask again, would it like to move to a safer place of its own choice, wherever it wants? If it says yes, then it is ready to release. And you are going to help it release all it went through, the story it told you, either into water, into air, into light, into fire, or into earth. So it can choose to release it either into water, air, light, fire, or earth, or combination. Whatever it chooses, please help it release all the memories, the emotion, the belief into water, fire, earth, air, light, till it is done. Check if it wants to release anything else, and if it does, help it release. Maybe things it didn't tell you before that it wants to release now. Now ask it what qualities that it missed would it like to invite into life now? What qualities would it like to invite into life now? And integrate those qualities into, into the little one. And now bring them into every cell of your body, all those qualities. And now ask the younger you where it would like to go, to a safer place. It can come with you or go somewhere else. Let it make its choice. And see it going to this place. And tell the younger you that you are going to check in occasionally. Thank every part of your system to help you in doing this. And take a moment to share a vision of your life, as if you are broadcasting to every cell of your being. What do you want for you? that feels complete. Just follow your breath back and take a moment to slowly open your eyes gently. And if you would like to write down anything, you can do that. A couple of minutes before I prepare for the tuning forks. Just take a moment to write down anything that could come up for you. Okay, so we are going to begin with the sound healing. The way it works is that you will be guided. I will open the two centers, which is one below the feet and one on top of the head. So you can stay where you are in a comfortable position and just take a moment to think about this vision of life that you just talked about. This is like your vision for your self affirmation. And I'm going to breathe in a certain way when I do the session. So the breath is, you take and breathe in through your nose. And then the breath is going as if the breath is going from your head into your chest, into your heart. And then you breathe out from your mouth. And you will hear me do that. Another breathing that you may sometime hear me do, which is a release. Okay. So just follow as you hear me, you do with me. Okay. There we go. I just want you to stay relaxed, and you're going to now hear the tuning fork sound. So we start by opening the center below the feet. So I'm 1 feet below your foot and opening the center, which is going through your backbone to the top of your head, as if like a fountain from below the feet, opening the channel to the top of the head. So take a breath. Oh, I feel pressure in my stomach. Fears. A lot of fears are coming up. Take a breath. Yeah, cleared away. So I'm going to ground you. So we open the center below the feet now, top of the head. So the sound is going through the head into backbone, through your feet into Mother Earth. So opening the channel that way. Take a breath. So open the two channels. Now I'm going to just check with the pendulum which center we are going to open today versus what you're coming through. So it's a group energy to know where to work. Okay, it's in the root. So the first center. Yeah. On the left side. So we're going to work on the first side. So this is all the sense of security, flow of abundance, and the balance between giving and receiving. So on the left side, it's all about unmet needs. So things that you wanted for yourself, but you could not get. And so I'm going to start from your birth. And anytime I come to something, I will say this age and see if you can remember an event or something that happened for you. And all you have to do is just remember it, and we're going to clear it. So start from your birth. Yeah. Straight away going into the stomach. So there's a lot of fear. So just see if anyone has at birth sense of fear coming. Thinking about birth and fear coming in. Yeah, big time. So you may have heard stories from your mother. Any story you have heard of birth, just go to that, remind yourself, and stay with it. Stay with the whatever you feel, and take a big breath, and just do that. Okay, so it's still there. So I'm going to work with another tuning fork, which you don't hear it. It is to clear. So just stay with that, whatever feeling or whatever perception you have of that event for you, your birth. Okay, so it is easing out. Okay, I'm going to go back to the other one and check again. Take a breath. There's still a bit there. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the same. I'm running with a crystal. Okay, that is eased. Yeah, 20. So 20-year-old. Whatever it brings to you. Take a breath. Okay, so that got cleared. I'm getting a lot of chills, so something is releasing. Okay, so it brought me to now. So now anything you're going through, whatever you're going through now, challenge. Think about it. Bring it into your awareness. Feel it. Just release it. Yeah, got to be released. So everything we have collected, I'm going to just release it out. Another breath. Another breath. I'm just going to release everything before releasing. Just make sure your system continues to process next 48 hours. And put you in a cocoon of 528 hertz. Just take a moment to relax.